Were there any particular like blockers that came up during that, or either champions or blockers, and how did you work through that?
Yeah, always leaning on kind of the champion was very valuable. One of my sales MOs is sometimes like there can be the perfect fit business, but you more importantly need the perfect fit persona or person or relationship in an opportunity, somebody that is willing to drive change and sees the benefit of driving change and is willing to move those internal mountains that I'm not able to as an outsider. Having our own debrief calls internally of how calls go and planning for calls, not only the HubSpot team, but also our external teams up to date in this one, but also their debrief calls with our champion were equally as important. He helped me also establish what areas where there's clarity on and what areas maybe there's confusion on. I think like a confused mind does nothing. So just having clarity on, again, like not taking shortcuts if there are questions or there is uncertainty in how something is going to be in the new world, the new HubSpot ecosystem in this case. You can't cut corners. You can't say, this person, like, they're not going to have a big decision at the end of the day. Every voice has a bit of influence, and that was just a saying I'd heard one time years ago, and I just see how relevant it is. And sales, like a confused mind does nothing, making sure there's clarity.
That's very true. And it's also the fact that you had a strong champion is a huge win of itself, right? I think one of the most challenging scenarios are the deals that go by committee rather than a single person leading that.
Yeah, and then I guess like another blocker in this one was interesting in that we got to the very end and we thought we were in a really good position and done everything perfectly and we were about to move forward. And that's actually when we were advised that their board told us that we need to evaluate a different solution partner because they need two options. This was hard because now we're getting closer to the end timeline that we needed to hit. We have milestones. The board's giving this direction even though our champion isn't wanting for this to happen. And now a really tight plan. How can we achieve all of these next steps within a window to get them the second quote to hand to the board, do it in a fair way that's fair to partner one and partner two, and hit the deadlines. So it was a lot of double checking, triple checking. Can we do this in a time that, like, can we get all the meetings scheduled? At that stage, it became even more tight, like joint evaluation plan. We booked every single one of the next steps in one go, having it logged. Are we on track? Are we falling behind? Again, the multi-threading, the keeping in continual communication with the stakeholders, regardless if they're on the calls or not. What has happened, the recaps of the calls, keeping them just like totally across what stages we're at. Again, are we on track, falling behind? And that helped us actually get it done on time because it was coming down to the wire.
So intense organization, which we always like working with you as well. Those JEPs, I think, come in handy for that specific reason. And that's good to hear. Along those lines, that sounds like a giant twist at the end of the road, essentially. But
something we weren't expecting.
For sure. And you gotta love it. It's something that even if you try to mitigate early on, sometimes you don't know because they haven't gone and talked to the board and the current evaluation team doesn't know what they're going to ask for, so they think everything's fine with solo sourcing, either whether or not it's on the software side or the partner side.